So after being promoted for a while, Spongebob and Patrick's timeline twist up, aka the episode where modern Spongebob meets classic Spongebob, is out. And it's not good. Matter of fact, it's pretty terrible. Hey! So this episode is 44 minutes long, the longest episode since Spongebob's birthday blowout. Actually, there was the Camp Coral special last year, but we don't talk about that one. And one of the longest episodes of the whole show. And it uses this time very poorly. To start off, the first 10 minutes is all setup, which is kinda crazy with Spongebob of all things. It starts with Spongebob and Patrick going on a peaceful ride that turns out to be a Glove World ride, and once they get their photo from that ride, they go back to Spongebob's house to do some scrapbooking.
Remember this? When I could fly?
No.
And here we see what the episode is gonna revolve around. As SpongeBob flips through these pictures from old episodes, he sees that Patrick's family members have replaced him in these iconic scenes.
I ripped my pants.
You sure you remember it?
So much for at least pretending that this show and the spin-offs being somewhat of a separate thing, but already I think this is just not good at all. Why would I want to watch great episodes with the great characters of classic SpongeBob be redone by characters that just kinda suck?
Yeah! I don't remember any of those people!
At about 3.5 minutes into the episode, Patrick has a kind of funny line delivery, which is important to remember because this is the only time he or any other character is somewhat funny for the entire 44 minutes.
You know what that means?
SpongeBob! I do not.
Like, when I first saw that, I thought, like, maybe Patrick can actually get a couple good jokes into this episode, but I was so wrong. After taking a detour to Goofy Goobers, they go to the Patrick Star's family house to see it's empty, which would be a great thing to implement into the Patrick Star show as well. The next few minutes are just them goofing around in the fake Star family house and then doing the fake Jordans meme until they are grabbed.
I need your help. Oh, Squidina, thank goodness.
This stretched out Squidina model just looks like ass. Why couldn't they have just kept the original design that we had already seen in the show multiple times? The same goes for its real parents, by the way. They were in the show just a couple of seasons ago, but now the Patrick Star show house is apparently just a walk away from SpongeBob's house.
It all started with Patrick's time closet.
So basically what happened is that the fake Star family stuffed a bunch of stuff they shouldn't have into the time closet, which turned it like feral, like everything else in the house, and now it eats people and sends them back in time into old episodes, which, to be fair, it's not a bad concept, but it's a terrible concept for, like, what the characters are and what the episodes are and what they do with it. We get a SpongeBob's Last Stand hippie callback. We saw that in last season, less than a year ago, and it will of course not be the only thing from an old episode that we see brought back in this special.
We can use one of those lame jokes to outwit the time closet.
That's gonna be easy for you two at least. They start telling bad puns, and every time they do stuff like this in modern SpongeBob, it's like the badumts thing, where it's just painful how they show that the jokes are bad on purpose, but they still aren't as bad as the actual jokes that they try to tell. Like, the show is unfunnier than when it's trying to be unfunny. After knocking out the time closet and nailing it back, they see that Squidina has now replaced SpongeBob in rock bottom, and they go to watch on the time closet's TV.
Patrick, I think we're on the wrong.
Mind you, it's been almost 12 minutes to get to this point. The entire length of rock bottom was spent to get to this point where we can watch a worse version of rock bottom after some of the most unfunny setup I have ever seen.
We Bikini Bottom.
Oh well.
This looks more like season 1 than A Fish Called Sandy, I'll give them that. I mean, like the designs. Obviously, A Fish Called Sandy had the underwater thing, especially in the beginning, but this episode has designs that are a lot more similar, although, of course, not one-to-one. Of course, season 1, SpongeBob and Patrick recognize Squidina and says her name. Classic SpongeBob moment, loved when that happened in the old seasons.
Let's just get out of here!
Where are you?
Look.
So now something kinda interesting starts happening, where they alternate between just doing the same lines from the original episodes and the new ones created by Squidina being here. And you can really tell the difference from when they switch from the original script to this.
Creepy and so cinematic.
Like, at least the old redone lines and jokes are actually redoing great ones. Everything new added here is just not on the same level, and this is something that's gonna persist through the whole episode, actually getting worse, and create what I think is the episode's biggest problem that makes it fail so bad.
Hey, Squidina, the boss is here.
This actually just sucks. She does what SpongeBob did when he was left here in season 1, except less interesting, less funny, and yeah, all of that.
Next. Next.
She records everything down here, and while I can say that it's cool that they added some new characters and stuff that we didn't see last time, it's once the case of everything new just not being as good as the original.
Ooh, teenage ne'er-do-wells.
These rock bottom hipster teenagers or whatever comes up here and says that buses are boring and for squares, and it's just like
We're gonna pull some pranks.
at this point I'm almost like Lady Upturn, like I'm almost like offended by this. So if this is like rage baiting, it's working greatly. Like, this is not rock bottom. It's not even that it's like the worst thing ever. I thought the creature being the car was pretty cool, but it's just literally changing history for worse. Rock bottom kinda lost its charm and original creepiness after it was brought back in like a couple of episodes before, but this episode just once again makes me want to watch rock bottom before it's like actually ruined. They prank call Squidward as he says some classic season 1 dialogue and then gets eaten by a rock monster, and then they prank Squidina by tying the balloon to her, so she starts flying up like SpongeBob did, and is grabbed by SpongeBob and Patrick from the time closet, which thankfully pulls her out of the episode, and they go back to the Star family house to see that SpongeBob is back with the balloon in the picture.
Aha! Here's Goo Lagoon.
Now, this exact same concept is gonna repeat 3 times with the other 3 fake family members, and this setup is the episode's biggest problem. What we have here is an episode built around taking old fantastic episodes, like the episode selection is really good, reanimating and redubbing them, revoicing, I don't know what it's called, making them worse, and then make them even more worse by removing the original writing and having bad characters thrown into the episodes to literally hijack them.
No. It's more fun to watch first.
For example, the next one is Grandpat in ripped pants, and what happens here is that he pops in right when SpongeBob goes to borrow this guy's marshmallows.
Can I borrow a couple of these?
The guy's reaction here is funny, as a matter of fact funnier than anything original they came up with in this episode, but as soon as the Star family comes in to fuck up the timeline, we are forced to watch terrible, like actually terrible modern versions of these classics.
Hey, Sonny.
I'm not joking when I say that the second that a Star family member interrupts the plot, the dialogue becomes 100 times less funny, And what makes it so much worse is that this is not just an unfunny modern SpongeBob episode, plenty of them. It is literally ripped pants, but made to be unfunny. Not made to be unfunny, like I obviously know that they aren't trying to like ruin these episodes. But it is, to me at least, what's happening. And it's just painful to watch. Like, I sat through these 44 minutes, because of course I had to see the episode. But it was probably one of the worst watches I've ever had with modern SpongeBob, and I've seen every episode.
Hang up, nostrils flared, and sit!
Cecil rips his pants and everyone laughs, and Scooter comes in to do a meta joke, saying that if it was anyone else, that joke would have grown stale fast, which is the most ironic thing ever, since it grows stale in mere seconds in this redoing of ripped pants. They drag the ripped pants thing 10 times harder than SpongeBob, the character, did in the original episode. They are replacing the ripped pants song with the whole plot of Cecil becoming a fashion star model thing by ripping his pants, and it's legit like, did you not watch the original episode? They are literally being SpongeBob from ripped pants. It's like bringing back Nosferatu in major role 10 times in every season, like, what? I'd give it to them that the redoing of old episodes look better than the usual modern episode, although very uncanny. But it's not nearly as good as the original episodes actually looked, and the writing and the jokes, in my opinion, sucks.
Behold the ultimate cooking utensil.
Cecil's ripped pants episode was really bad, but unfortunately it gets even worse with Bunny, aka Patrick's fake mom, redoing Neptune's Spatula.
SpongeBob, don't touch that filthy thing.
I have seen the entire first season of the Patrick Star Show. I'm working on a video, working on editing a video about that now. But there's about 50 episodes in total in that season. And this character has not been funny even once.
I'll just scrub it nice and clean.
She pulls it out and Neptune comes in and does the same thing from Neptune's Spatula, but worse of course.
Yes, you are obviously superior.
Nah, this is gaslighting. It's just so bad. Like, who even likes these characters? How is it fun to watch them unironically ruin old episodes for 44 minutes? Again, that's not, someone probably likes these characters. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you have, you know. But me personally, I'm gonna need a season 1 watch party detox after this. Like, no joke, this might actually make me look at the episodes differently. Like, am I gonna be thinking of the fucking Patrick Star Show when I'm watching Neptune's Spatula?
Kitchen of the gods to whip up a simple home cook.
Once again, as soon as they depart from rereading old lines from great episodes, it all goes downhill and becomes modern SpongeBob, like fully.
My famous boat noodle soup.
And there is actually also a pretty big problem here with Bunny's version of Neptune's Spatula that I want to address. SpongeBob was able to pull the spatula in the original episode because he was quite literally the chosen one. Like, we saw Larry what word am I thinking of? Stand. Yeah, we saw Larry stand there and like try to pull it out, and he's like the strongest guy. He couldn't do it, but SpongeBob could because he's like the great fry cook, as we saw in the episode later.
Yours is superior. Therefore, I concede to you, SpongeBob SquarePants. You win.
But here Bunny can just pull it out because, I don't know. I literally don't know. It's like, she clearly can't cook, so it makes everything in Neptune's Spatula just seem less important as a result. I'm sure I'm still gonna love Neptune's Spatula as much as I do before watching this episode, but that scene might have less impact when you know that Patrick's mom, who cooks shoes in trash, could have just come in and pulled it out like it was nothing.
When was the last time you gave this trident a good scrubbing?
Neptune Spatula, but it's 11 minutes of relatable wacky mom cleaning jokes. Her whole thing here is using Neptune's trident to save people and stuff, which I guess could be not the worst thing ever if it was a Patrick Star Show episode, but I'm just sitting here waiting for them to pull her out of the episode.
We finished repainting the chum.
Also, something else that don't make much sense is how King Neptune in the Patrick Star Show was shown to be a fan of the show, and Patrick in particular.
I am your biggest fan!
Yet he don't recognize him, Bunny, or Spongebob, who is in that show too. Like, this person he is interacting with here is the mom of, like, the main character on his favorite show. But who cares, that's not the big problem with this episode. They are about to have a fight with the Kraken, which I ironically thought like would be a pretty cool thing. They even say like release the Kraken, but Bunny is dragged out, which is a good thing, you know. But this episode having me root for Spongebob and Patrick just because I want them to stop the other characters from messing with the old episodes, I don't think it's the best like motivation.
Phew! Thank Neptune, it's back to normal.
Next they are about to watch Grand Pat ruin Help Wanted, which Patrick says is gonna be good, which
Hey, I doubt it!
I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
you can really hear the age in Tom Kenny's voice here, but at least he's trying. I can't fault the guy for not sounding as good as he did in this episode. They're redoing 26 years later, like it's not his fault that the concept and writing kinda sucks. They at least do a pretty good job emulating emulating Help Wanted in the modern style, but again, it's not as good, of course, so what's the point?
It's not a problem working for your old frenemy.
Grandpat is hired instead of Spongebob, and the dialogue is so trash, it's a night and day with what actually should be being said in the episode, you know, the actual jokes and stuff from Help Wanted that they're replacing with like, just nothing. Surprisingly, it was a Grandpat hijacking Help Wanted that ended up being the best concept, with him taking over the world instead of Plankton. And we get some really cool visuals, and I really would have liked to see this be a plot of a Patrick Star Show episode instead of this, cause this is not even like a diamond in the rough thing. There's just like no way of redeeming this episode in my eyes.
I was ready. I was ready.
Then near the end of this part of the whole episode, it's the thing that everyone has been waiting for, as SpongeBob goes to meet his past self.
Here, take this spatula, fly to the Krusty Krab.
I don't know why people use the promos for this episode as some sort of gotcha moment for my classic SpongeBob would not be friends with modern SpongeBob video. First of all, people are acting like I said that classic SpongeBob should kill modern SpongeBob with a hammer, which is clearly not what my point was if you actually watch the video.
What? Trust me. You got this. We got this.
Modern SpongeBob, written by the modern SpongeBob writers, got along with classic SpongeBob, written by the modern writers.
Who are you, beautiful stranger? You look kind of familiar.
Modern SpongeBob didn't actually meet classic SpongeBob in this episode because that's impossible. There is a time closet in this episode, but in order for this to be, like, real, we would need a time closet to exist in real life. Classic SpongeBob, the pre-movie version from seasons 1 to 3, was written over 20 years ago. I mean, this is SpongeBob from Help Wanted, so it's like even more than that. It's like, literally, what is it, Help Wanted came out in like 1997, 1996. It's literally almost 30 years. He can't meet modern SpongeBob because the characters were written so many years apart. This is not classic SpongeBob. Any line he says to modern SpongeBob is a line from a modern version of classic SpongeBob. Also, like, if it was actually possible that this was Spongebob written 30 years ago, interacting with Spongebob written today, and they got along like this, still doesn't really prove anything, cause my point was never that like Spongebob would kill modern Spongebob with a hammer. I'm not saying this to be like rude to the modern Spongebob writing team or something, but they can't write for classic Spongebob as a character, and I can't either. If they could, then the modern episodes would be as funny as Wet Painters or Chocolate with Nuts, and obviously that's not happening. And this is just proven by what we have seen in this episode. If what we see here is classic Spongebob, then Patrick's fake dad making Spongebob's ripped pants into a fashion show, walk, thing, then that's also classic Spongebob. Like, it's not 1996, 1999, it's not even 2004. If the episode isn't written around that time, then, I mean, it's written now, so it's modern Spongebob still. It's just not the same, and this is one of the worst episodes of the whole show in my opinion. It's really that bad to me, and I feel like I gotta watch some season 1 to not have this trash leave a bad taste in my mouth.